All right, happy Thursday, everybody. Either or Thursday, usually on the website. We're glad you're here in the Arctic Air Studios. You know, we got more Arctic Air on the way. If your air gets too Arctic, you need to call the bear, callthebear.com. Brought to you by the Shropshire Agency tonight, independent, just like West Texans. And of course, United Supermarkets text line 806-772-0197. Any way you communicate with us, it's through United Supermarkets and Market Street. So you can hit your comments on YouTube and on Twitter, and we'll get them one way or the other. Even those of you on Facebook Live, you just get in the normal way. Now, what do we do on Facebook? What do we do on all the other stuff? We say, hey, we're coming in loud and strong. Let us know. Give us hearts. Then share it. Let everybody else know out there. Also, Boot City, one money saving mile outside the West Loop. A lot of what we wear you can find at Boot City. Boot City has got boots, and I need new boots, and I'm going to Boot City here in a couple of days to get me some new boots. Celia watching, Matthew watching, you guys watching, everybody commenting, everybody ready to have some fun on a Thursday night, which is cool, because we got a lot of stuff happening. And we want you to comment. We want you to get your comments in, your thoughts in. Now, tonight is going to maybe be a one topic show. And by that, we mean not in a negative way, just that we're going to focus in on one thing. The talking box is on, indeed, Craig. Hi there, Andrea. Glad you're watching. So, yeah, the talking box is on, and we're going to focus in on one thing. You guys saw it on the slug. We can do other stuff. We can talk about baseball, basketball, open date. Lady Raiders win yesterday. In 3, in 2, good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You start your day there with us every day on the website. Cool questions. Tomorrow we'll ask you the most Texan thing you have done this week. Be ready to answer. Tonight, as we mentioned, brought to you by Arctic Air and by the Shropshire Agency, independent, just like West Texans. Your business, your church, your family, you don't know what you might be missing out on insurance-wise until you talk to an independent agent just like you. So talk to the Shropshire Agency. Tell Jeff we said, hey. Hi there, Chris. Topic. Discuss. We used to do this in debate. You'd have a thesis. You would have a topic fall down on one side or the other. True or false? Patrick Mahomes is the greatest sports figure to ever come out of Texas Tech University. Why or why not? He is, he isn't. We have recency bias to consider on all this. So factor that in. I'm not going to say you're wrong or you're right. We'll discuss it. But is Patrick Mahomes, as we get ready for the conference championships again, 6 straight years for Kansas City with him at the quarterback as a starter, he's never not played in the AFC Conference Championship. Fascinating. Amazing. Is he greatest sports figure to emanate forth from Texas Tech? Or why not? Could be. Might not be. You tell me. You tell me why. You tell me why not. Beyond that, it's up to you guys on the Q&A. You can fire away. I guess I should have made this like a, ask me anything type deal we used to do. And then it got really weird, and we couldn't do that because people would get on Twitter and stuff, and they'd ask you anything. So for Mahomes, is he that person? Is he the greatest sports figure to ever come out of Texas Tech? You've had great figures over the years. Impactful over the years. Is he or is he not? Allen weighs in true. He's the most consequential player in the NFL at the height of the sport's popularity. All right, so we got two things going on. And I believe you are factual when you say he is, by what you're saying, consequential. He is probably what we would say the face of the NFL right now. That he is the optimum face of the NFL if there is one, and we could debate that the league is so fractured right now, not in a negative way, but we could debate that. But if he is the face of the NFL, and the NFL is the dominant sports league right now, then obviously that's huge. Yes, he is at the moment as a QB1. QB1. Starting quarterback. Yeah. Hey, Billy Joe Tolliver was starting quarterback. Why are you throwing him under the bus, man? Why don't you give him some credit? Well, you guys can comment on Twitter and on YouTube. We should be able to see your comments via the United Supermarkets text line. So knock them out. Send them that way. We're looking forward to them. Hi there, Hillary. Glad you're out there. So we're talking about greatest sports figure all time from Texas Tech. And let's go ahead and get Cheryl Swifts out there right now. 3-time gold medal winner. Yeah. What? 2004. Really created a sports league in the WNBA. I told you the other night the story how I got knocked off the cover of Sports Illustrated. Hopefully you enjoyed that show. So where does she? I mean, she is impactful. Let's see. I got to go back up here for a second. Alan says I go a step further that he should be the Michael Jordan of the NFL with another title in the next couple of seasons. No, he won't be. There's as many, if not more, still quarterbacks out there. Whether we're talking, I mean, he gets another title, he's now Aikman, right? He's not Montana. He's not Bradshaw. I mean, we talk about quarterbacks in the league. No, you can't make that. It's a false equivalency between the NBA and the NFL regarding player, quarterback, and otherwise. The Tiger Woods of the NFL never know what he's going to pull out. Okay, that's interesting. And I assume by that you mean not a 6-iron from his wife on an Escalade. She had her own shoe. Damn right she did. Talking about Cheryl Swoops. He has defeated the top talent in the NFL and almost beat the GOAT, Tom Brady. So he didn't. Now, okay, now we're getting into NFL versus Texas Tech. I want to confine this to Texas Tech. Greatest sports figure Texas Tech history. And I know I'm playing with fire here because we have amazing recency bias with what he is doing. Amazing recency bias. Now, recency bias does not always mean that you're wrong if you understand what recency bias means. It doesn't always mean you're wrong. Okay? Recency bias just implies that this is the most recent thing happening. Therefore, we gauge it, we hold it up higher. But sometimes the most recent thing could be the right thing. I'm not going to argue with either way. But I am intrigued because I think hopefully what we're seeing with Patrick Mahomes is it also illustrates that you've had a lot of really impactful, great sports figures out of Texas Tech. It's almost like all of a sudden everybody forgot about Zach Thomas, Hall of Famer. Zach Thomas is sitting over here going, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm like over here. I'm I was in the NFL. It sucked. We didn't have a good quarterback and stuff, but I was a linebacker. I was pretty good. Rodney Allison close to Patrick. Rodney Allison not even close to Patrick. Rodney Allison, Patrick Mahomes. And I'm a Rodney Allison fan, okay? I love me some Rodney Allison, not even close. Now, E.J. Holub, we have brought up here. I was wondering who would do that. He had to be truly tough to play back in the 60s and 70s. He was, and he was part of what many consider the greatest defense in professional sports history, the Chiefs in the 1960s. They obviously did not get a chance to play against the best of the NFL, but there are many people who say that if you look at the Chiefs and what would ultimately become the Hall of Famers, and I think E.J. Hollab should have been there. E.J. Hollab gets penalized the way the Dallas Cowboys getting penalized from the 70s, that they were on really good teams and they only won one title and they weren't from a quote major market. By that I mean New York. Yeah, E.J. Hollab, huge, impactful, great player. What do you think of his chances against the Ravens? E.J. Hollab, I don't think he'll do well. He's quite dead. Oh, probably not what you're asking me. I think the Ravens are going to win this weekend. The smart money right now is, when I say smart money, I say the money right now is going to the Ravens. I'm kind of shocked. We blew by the plus 3.5 number, and we're getting into 4 territory. I think that's a little bit of public money coming in on there. I'm going to look for a sharp line reversal as the weekend goes along. And what we mean by that is the number of bets will be at 4. Key line here is 4 points. The number of bets will be on Baltimore. The bet percentage of money, the money will actually be flowing to Kansas City, I think, later on this week. I think we'll see it go back to 3.5. So what do I think his chances are? I think this is an offense that obviously is plagued by a lot of drop passes. We have seen Travis Kelce just, turn into a pumpkin. There is no run game, although they committed to it last week against Buffalo, and it was impressive to watch. Baltimore is just really good. Very good. Statistically, when you look at some metrics, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but they're having a statistical year that's in the top 10 over the last 40 years. So what I think is going to happen, I would take Kansas City plus 4, Kansas City plus 3.5, and Baltimore probably wins by a field goal. That's what I think is going to happen. Is he the greatest sports figure all time from Texas Tech? Why or why not? What makes him that way? What makes him different? And I freely admit we're flirting with recency bias. We've talked about E.J. Hollab. We've talked about Zach Thomas. There have been great sports figures out of Texas Tech. So let's say he is. Let's end the argument at 642. Okay? That's funny. I can't even do his voice. 51 on mic, 51 on mic. I can't even do the voice. I can't make my voice do 51's the mic, 51's the mic. That's funny. All right, let's shift the conversation and say he is. Now you tell me why he is the greatest sports figure out of Texas Tech all time. Growing up a Tech fan, Swoops was the athlete for you. Gold medals are impressive, especially when they're won in dominant fashion. Darn right. Of course, Hillary, I'm so old, I remember the 84 team winning in dominant fashion in the Olympics. I'm talking about women's basketball in the Olympics too. So, but yeah, no, Swoop's impact. I think that's probably I think you look at Swoops, you look at Zach Thomas, you look at what's his name? Patrick? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. I think those are the 3 I would look at over the last half century. Yeah. I mean, literally half century, because when we talk about E.J. Hollab, we're talking about a man who wrapped up his playing career a half century ago, 50 years ago. Thank you for making me feel old. So we look in this linear mode and we go, Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops did amazing things. She helped create an entire new league. There is no WNBA without Swoops. We talked about this the other night when I was talking about getting knocked off the cover of Sports Illustrated. There is no Swoops without the WNBA. Her, Lisa Leslie, Teresa Edwards, what we can go back, whatever you want. She creates a shoe. Well, I mean, she didn't create it. She had absolutely had nothing to do with the creation of the shoe. But they named a shoe, a freaking shoe after her. And she was damn good. But for being on not great teams, but good teams, Zach Thomas would be Mike Singletary. What are the linebackers that you would fill in over the last 25 years, 30 years, whatever? I mean, Zach Thomas was that good. He had the curse of being with the Dolphins, just like Marino. The Marino, great career, Hall of Fame career, no ring. How different is it if Zach Thomas is on it? I mean, freaking Brian Urlacher gets a ring, gets to go to a Super Bowl. I mean, so Zach Thomas, I think, is the sandwich in between, even though he was a little bit before Swoops, as far as how I would be ranking these impactful players. Greatest athlete, greatest sports figure, whatever. All-time Texas Tech. So now let's go back a little bit again and say, if it is Mahomes, why? What is the defining thing, the defining factor for you that makes him that way? I mean, yeah, 2 Super Bowl championships, okay, all that. But what is it? What's different? Tell me why. Swoop's the first superstar from Tech. No, she was not the first super. Well, now we get into the idea of superstar. And yeah, maybe. Yeah. Wes Welker always satisfied. I don't know what you're into, what kinky shit you're doing there, Troy. But yeah, but he's a tier or two below. And I think it's easy, maybe, Craig, for people to forget, depending on how old they are, the impact that Swoops had 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. Covers of Sports Illustrated. The face of a league. You name it. You know? Football JA. I don't know what JA means. JA. What does that mean? Afraid to ask. So, yeah. So, first sports superstar. Yeah. Yeah. You could make that claim. Olympian, everything else. I've never really looked at it from that standpoint, Craig, about the idea for a sports superstar, but you can make that claim. Swoops on a level with Michael Jordan in his prime. Impressive. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Hell, she's out there doing stuff while Michael Jordan's getting suspended from the NBA for gambling and had to go play baseball for a couple of years. Swoops didn't even get kicked out of the league. So she's got that going for her, which is, nice. But I want you guys to keep coming back to the idea of Mahomes. Why? Why is he different? Is it simply the accomplishment on the field? Is it simply the wins? And if it is, that's fine. That's okay. But is there something more defining? Is there something else about Mahomes? Mahomes, when you say it like that, it's pretty impressive. What makes it happen? So there you go. Comment on that. We can talk about actually this year's basketball team, which is obviously off this week. Lady Raiders win last night against Houston. Very nice win. Big win, actually. And then baseball, we're so close. We're getting close to baseball. If you want to get in on the text line, do that 806 771 772 0197, or you can just type in your comments on Twitter and or Facebook or YouTube or however you want to do it. He's different because Tech is taking advantage of the marketing opportunities. Prescient point made by Hillary right there. Texas Tech has leveraged heavily in Kansas City with marketing up there with it, and it's beautiful to see it done. We're in a different time and an era, I think, where you can market like that versus, say, Swoops or even Zach Thomas or something else. But yes, Tech is absolutely milking everything they can, and I love to see it. Mahomes is a preparation freak, an athlete freak, a rubber band arm freak, a freak wearing, you know, Luke, Team Luke, every time. Always, every time, Team Luke. It's different by the way he makes players. The way he makes players that most plays. I think you mean plays that most quarterbacks couldn't. Yeah, yeah, I get you on that one. Rewind 20 years. Would Patrick be the same quarterback that he is today? So I think I understand the question that Craig is placing here. And we talk about this all the time. Players born too early, too late, whatever. So we go back 20 years to 2004. Same skill set, same everything. No, he's not going to be the same player. The league was not ready for that style of play. But then again, he's so good, he might have adapted. Mahomes is top of the game because everyone else is compared to Mahomes. Yeah, good point. Just like everyone gets compared to Don Williams in Lubbock media. Well, he's no Don Williams. He's a young Don Williams. He's an up-and-coming Don Williams. He reminds me of Don Williams, but he's no Don Williams. Sidearm left-handed no-look passes. Yeah, I did that all the time. And I was freaking right-handed. And they got mad at me for that. So that's weird. No rules to protect quarterback. Yeah. That would have taken away a little bit of the dash downfield. 100%. Otherwise, your steepler, not good. Mahomes is hitting all Brady's milestones way before he hit them. Other than a couple, but yeah. Got the Blue Emu. Not a sponsor, by the way. Blue Emu on the elbow. Kind of works. I think it does. Seems like it does. As long as he gets to throw to Taylor Swift's man, he could become that. I think Kelsey's done after this year. And he passes the eye test. David, do you want to talk about this further? Is there more you'd like to discuss? I'm just curious. Based on the statement there. Okay, so here we are in the final few moments of the broadcast. Let's say that we have come to an agreement that Patrick Mahomes is indeed the greatest sports figure all time from Texas Tech. Even though we're in the moment and we're dealing with recency bias, and we agree to that, right? We agree to that. Holmes needs to remember where he came from. Endorsements has him unfocused along with Travis Sackett. You're so dumb and wrong. I couldn't even. This is a joke right here from Troy. You can't believe that. Yeah, you can't believe that. Can't believe that. He's not being real. So we're in agreement that he is the greatest coming out of Texas Tech. You know? Oh, I seem to have struck a nerve. It'll be interesting to see how Josh Young's career goes. He might be in the conversation in the future. Okay, you know, that was kind of where I was going with this. Hillary, are you reading my show notes? How long would it take for anyone to challenge? What would it take, to do to surpass or equal what he's done right now? So you got a World Series championship, which for the Rangers, that is the most impossible thing ever to do. You know, what would it take? How hard would it be? Number one focus of Mahomes is clearly winning. Al Davis would have been proud. Just win, baby. Doesn't care how he wins. They've run the ball, they've thrown the ball, defense, whatever. Rookie season, one World Series win, impressive. Yeah. And then we go back to Mahomes and go, my gosh, how much higher will he raise the bar? Who said, could obviously get one this year. I don't think it's, they're a 3.5 point, 4 point dog to the best team left. So that's not a huge, anything. If he could get the third one this year, goodness, where does he end up? And then you end up with the conversation of, at that point, we're talking about one of the greats, not just in NFL history, but in sports history with Mahomes. You're talking about one of the greatest, it would be like having the conversation, I guess, with Tom Brady with Michigan players, who's the greatest Michigan player? Oh, yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah, had that guy, How do you have that conversation at that point? I hope for his sake we get there. That'd be awesome. Yeah, so Josh Young, I hope we can have a conversation in a couple of years, which is the best tech baseball player. I hope we've got a couple of tech baseball players that are on the cusp of making it to the bigs and get a couple of more in there that over the next 5 or 10 years, we're going, yeah, well, Josh, he won two with the World Rangers there, but, look at so-and-so did there. Yeah, that's what I like. Can't believe we're so close to baseball. So close. It's going to be a good team. I would caution people though, this year, this team's going to have a rocky start. Talking about tech baseball, and just hang with them, give them a chance to find their footing. I think it's going to take about a month and a half, 6 weeks, at least, to really define some roles. Hang with this team. I think they've got a lot of talent from what I've read, who I've talked to, the different smart baseball people that I tried to pay attention to. And they're like, it's there. You've got to let Tim Tadlock have time to sprinkle the magic. Now, football guys going to be freaking out early on with tech baseball. I have no doubt about that. Football guys going to be going crazy. Remember I said that, okay? Super Bowl logo conspiracy has already told us who's going to be in the Super Bowl. What is that? The Chiefs and the Lions? Tallest pitcher in college baseball. Yeah. You're done with my endorsements. With you. Good luck, Ryan. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Tallest pitcher in college baseball. Yeah. I do know everything. That is factual. At least we have some factual comments coming out there. So yeah, baseball, it's gonna be, I think, a little rocky early on. Not in a bad way, just where people get, just so used to everything being good. And they forget how many years where the first few weeks, it takes hits and then they come around. But that's why football guy has a problem with baseball. Football guy has a problem with basketball sometimes. We dearly need a basketball game. Thank you, Lady Raiders, for winning last night. We needed something. It's like the men have been off for a month and a half since BYU. And we're going to Oklahoma. Hi there, Jerry. Glad you're with us. All right. About done for tonight. Tomorrow, you guys know what to do. The most Texan thing you have done this week. We ask you that every week there at theraiderland.com. Bonus points for those like anybody out there outside of the confines of the great state of Texas. And you're doing great Texas things. That's a bonus point when you get in there. We'll might throw in a couple of different things tomorrow. And then the Raiderland hot links. Those of you who are checking that out, I appreciate it. If you want to contribute, I wish you would, because I know you guys see stuff every day on Twitter, on YouTube, on anything and everything, and say, hey, if I like it, folks in Raiderland are going to like it. Well, what do? Post it in the comments, share it with people, grow it. It's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so we got to end the stream first off on YouTube and on Twitter. And hit the end the stream. Yeah, in the stream, yes. No, not yet. Yes, in the stream.